Welcome back. We're still having this conversation of a man who's trying to sexually molest a minor and, trying to groom and lead her on till the mother had to stand up for the daughter. I've heard all of you and I like your different perspectives on the matter. And like Mariam rightly said, this has been happening for as long as anybody can remember. I've seen situations whereby the mother would finally drive the child out of the house. You're the one that wants to come and collect my new boyfriend. I've even seen a case where it's the father that is doing the molesting and sexually abusing, and the mother will side with the father and drive the child out of the house, that you're trying to seduce your father and take my husband from me. But I'm happy that this woman was able to see clearly that I'm not going to take this. I don't care about this relationship, and even your family members, everybody can, go and dive. But there's something I also realized, that sometimes some people come to the house and your child runs away from them. And we, this person is my person, my friend, my family member. Go and greet this uncle now. Why are you running away from this uncle now? And the child keeps running away from that person. No, I don't want to see this person. It's a red flag. You should find out why exactly this particular child does not want to see this adult. That's on one hand. Also, we've talked about being present in our children's lives, right? But I also I don't know how we're going to do it in such a way that people are still able to do their work and leave their children. You can't stay with them all the time. I remember my growing up. In the morning, everybody don't come out. They come back in the night. Only God knows, we would have gone to different places. We have played the kind of play we're not supposed to play and all of that. But at the end of the day, adults would do the work that they need to do if they are going to survive, right? And also provide, with food, shelter, clothing, and everything. But how do we balance it in such a way that even if you are going out there hustling and you're leaving your child alone, that your child is somewhat protected, your child is somewhat aware that if anything happens, there's somebody they can easily call, there's a neighbor they can easily shout. How do we do that so that we don't pause our lives because we are raising children, especially when the economy is not economying? Do you get me? So how do we balance it?
Even more dangerous are parents who are there and don't care.
That's another one.
That one breaks my heart. I see it too often, too many times. I'm a parent who, I don't sleep with my two eyes closed. Since the day I had children. I hear a noise, I attend to that noise. I hear silence, I attend to the silence.
Especially silence.
If you reach, I not hear you again, I go find you. On Saturday, my mother-in-law was surprised. She told me my son said he was going to the poultry because he's interning at the poultry. And
this boy has been through a lot.
Every he goes to the poultry. I don't know why. I've told him, if you break egg there, just know that I will take from your piggy bank. So he went, and I said, I don't think he went to the poultry because I had gave him standing order. You have the permission to go to certain places, but before you leave this compound, Mommy, I'm going.
Okay.
I can even get angry and say, don't go today. I'm the ultimate power, everything, final power in this house. And he says, okay, ma. And so that day, I just came out. The silence was there. I saw only my mother-in-law sitting. I said, where are you picking? She said, he go poultry. I said, no. I left the door fully open. I was cooking. Something just, and whenever your instincts tell you, that was how I saw him, and the dog had beaten him when he was looking for his cat. My instinct just said, he's not here, he's not, you follow your instinct. So I went, I got to the poultry, not did here. I saw him at his mama's house, taking Fanta while he's saying he's fasting. I went to look for him. When I got there, Mama said, I thought you said you are going for the evening. I said, no, just leave me. Let me just be watching this boy, me and you in this compound. You check your child. You must be an attentive parent. Your child is crying. Why is it your neighbor who is attending to your child? If your child is wounded, why is it your neighbor? And you have the patience to say, no, I'm a busybody, I leave the problems for the neighbor. The day that person decides to be like you, there'll be a problem. My compound is big and my kids have toys and bikes. I see the kids who come there to play. I don't want their noise. I don't want to be bothered about other people's children. The only thing I'm leaving them is because I know I've created a safe space for my kids and they are benefiting from it.
Yeah.
So you as a mom, your child plays in somebody's house 24/7 and you don't know that person. We had to bounce a child off the compound. Sometimes my husband stood against him, my mother-in-law too, because we never saw the child's parents and they played in the compound for over a year. when I was growing up, my mother would say, it's because of my child, though. I don't know what's interesting in your house. That's why we have become friends. I have become friends with a lot of neighbors because my kids will be friends with them. You are supposed to, as a parent, find out the place where your child feels so safe and why they are safe, because they might not just be in safe places. They are being groomed and you don't know it. You don't know it. My late friend I talked about that died last year, one of her child was a sexual addict. And she had to leave them because her husband just abandoned the family and go and hawk food. So she would leave them. Then one was 12, the other one was 14. She was dealing with the 12-year-old was a sex addict at 21. Wow. And how did it happen? Uncle that was always there was playing porn for the kids, and they would be quiet there. They had been groomed not to even tell mommy. Whenever she comes in that night, we're just with uncle, we watch film. She never asked which film. Yeah. So the most dangerous ones are those parents who think it's not my headache, it's my neighbor's headache. It's not my business, the child is, it should be the neighbor. Whose neighbor, who the sister they born you and your child, you and her together, it can be a danger. You just talked about an uncle. You cannot just be lax. The lax parents are the worst kind of parents.
Yeah, so true. Let's take this call. Chief Kalu from Ikeja. Good morning, Chief Kalu.
God for.
Chief Kalu, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
We can hear you, sir.
Yeah, whether we like it or not. Good morning, all.
Good morning to you.
Yeah. Hello.
Listen to you.
Listen to the phone, sir, not the TV.
Hello. Hello.
We can hear you, sir. Just listen to the phone and not the TV. The TV is delayed.
Whether we like it or not, we condemn it, and Bible condemn it, even Quran condemn it. Whether we like it or not. Hello.
Well, listen.
He has to go. We couldn't really get what.
Yeah, so like in trying to curb this, that's why most times when you discuss with some northern people, they'll tell you that that's the reason why, you know, they marry out their daughters early, at least to avoid this kind of things. And marrying your daughter very early again comes with consequences. It comes with its own consequences. That is why most times in the north you see the homes, they call them bashiga, so strictly for women. You understand? So if they see a man coming in, if a man goes into that bashiga, that means he's looking for something, you know, he's looking for something where he's not supposed to be. He's not supposed to be in that environment at that particular point in time. So he has brought problem for himself. So that way they are able to reduce that, not that it's not there, it exists definitely, but they have been able to reduce that, you know, sexual molestation that at that early stage. But then they now marry early. They marry as early as, you know, 11, 12, 10. Some of them get married that early. They believe that once you do your period, your first period at home, the next one will be done in your husband's house. And that's where most times the women will now, the little girls will now get pregnant, and VVF is very common in that kind of area. No. So at the end of the day, they will now, you know, those kind of things that happen, at the end of the day, it will now become a big problem in their marital homes as well. I remember there was this my former, like somebody like, he used to drive us a lot, and the girl got married at the age of 12. So every time the girl will go out to go and play, she will go out and go and play 10-10. Yeah, the husband, he married her, she came in as the fourth wife. She will go out to go and play 10-10, and he will call her and say, it's time for you to cook. It's time for you to come and do this. She was already saddled with a lot of responsibility at that age.
As a child.
She's just a child. At the end of the day, she gave birth, and she had this VVF. And at the end, he now divorced her because she was, you know, the VVF, smelling, she couldn't take care of herself and all of that. So what I'm just trying to say is, at the end of the day, we are trying to run away from something, and then we are now in another thing.
Problems.
So I don't even know how.
No, so we need to talk about the place of education. You know, this is a problem that you have described, but I know that it's a situation that, you know, many people, individuals, government, corporations are handling massively. Yes, I'm sure maybe in like deeper, in more rural areas, maybe this still happens. But I know that the country as a whole, this is something that we are fighting against. The VVF awareness programs, we've seen that many times. So for me, that is a whole different issue. That girl-child marriage is a no-no. There's no justification for it. There's no rationalization. There's no, because we're trying to keep you protect you from sexual molestation. Then I take you straight into serious sexual abuse. You know, is just wrong. But just for the sake of this conversation we're having here, I feel that it's a different one. We're talking of people that you have entrusted to protect your child, to take care of your child, and they are within your circle, and they have found ways to, you know, betray your trust and destroy a child's life. You ask the question that how do we be parents doing other things while protecting our children? Because we cannot be with them 24/7. The sad thing about modern day parenting, is the way we are raising our children. We have to be their all and all. We used to have a community. When it takes a village, we used to have a village. We are not meant to raise our children just by ourselves. We can't afford to do that. We don't have, we're not physiologically, mentally wired to do that. We need help. So what happens now is that we now have to build support groups. But in your support circle or your support group, you have to be careful. But you know the thing about this, whatever is, as you mentioned, even a father has been caught doing this. A mother has been caught. So sometimes in the end, you now look at God and your child. Teach anyway. I believe that we're talking to mothers who care, fathers who are not this way. The important thing is, in this day and age, you cannot be everything for everywhere at the same time. That's why you need to give them information. They need to know what is what they can accept and what they cannot accept. And whenever they are uncomfortable, they need to know that they can come to you. I like what you said about parents when we're there, but we're not there. You are available. You have decided, I'm not working because I need to be home more. But you are not there. Even you know that you're not completely there. And that is so wrong. We need to really give these children presence and our attention. This TV, social media, it has taken the world by a storm. The other day, I was walking, I was driving to my estate. Everybody I saw on the road was like this. The person walking on the road that was not listening, the person at the gate that is trying to open the gate, the person on, on a bicycle. Yes, everybody. And so you find parents to constantly like this, and their children are right there. Sometimes your children will talk to you 5 times before you
hear one. We have a caller on the line. All well from Enugu. Is it all well or oil well?
All well
from Enugu. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning.
Everybody. Yes, actually, I was following the program, and it's actually an interesting program.
Sorry.
So my own contribution is just the role of the parents to curb this anomaly that is happening in the society. In the most times, parents now, based on the responsibility that they have to, leave their children at the care of nanny or other third-party care, which the person cannot be trusted. There is one thing that my parents used to do when we are small. After school, all of us will come back to their shop, or we'll change our school
clothes in the shop.
And follow them. Yes, and follow them in the business of whatever they are doing. My father then was a welder, so he taught all of us how to weld. Understand? So when we are finishing school, our school uniform will be changed, will be washed in the shop. My mom's shop was also very, very close. So all of us will be helping in the activities of the family. Once it is evening, all of us will go back as a family. And he found out that they are always there. And even on Sunday that we don't used to go to work, they will bring every clothes that we will wear for 1 week. We're washing it after church in the evening. So there is no drinking space. So that closeness made us to, that even the people that we grew up with as youth, majority of them are tough, armed robbers, not because their parents were not looking after them. But our parents made us responsible. That even how to do all those iron doors, iron protectors. Even at last, we still went to school. Went to school. I studied in the University of Nigeria, understand? But I know how to do all those hand jobs, all those handworks.
You were engaged.
I was engaged, yes. So that was a lesson to me that my parents actually did well and made us very close. Even my younger sister knows how to weld, even as a woman. Because my father taught all of us how to do that. So that's just my own contribution to that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I like that. And I know that in the course of study and, you know, understanding more about children and teenagers, right? I now realize that many times why our children are not able to speak to us is because we've not created that environment where they can speak to us very early from the nonsense things that they say. So from age 2, 3, 4, 5, your child comes back from school, they are chatting, they want to say, mommy, this is, you're then, keep quiet, do this one, do that one. And you lose out on that. Now, when the serious things begin to happen, because they are not used to talking to you, they will not talk to you. Now, for those people who even talk to you, you come with a form of judgment. When your child tells you something, your child is looking for an anchor, your child is looking for support, your child may have made a mistake, and then your child is narrating to you, and you come with all the judgment. See, you sit on the judgment throne and you invalidate that child's feeling and you judge that child. Tomorrow, when the serious thing happens, that child will not tell you. So we as parents also need to open up. There are some conversations I've heard from my children that when I was in my heart, I was, hey, oh, but okay, and how did you handle it? I was dying inside, but I didn't want to show that because I know that there's a way I will handle that conversation. If another one happens tomorrow, they will not share with me. So I remember when my daughter was 8 years old in primary school at the time, and she came home and she said that her teacher, male teacher, told her to come and sit on his laps. Yes. I think there was after school and then they were having lessons. I said she should come and sit on his laps. And she looked at him and said, no, I'm not supposed to do that, right? And immediately she came home. That day, it did not pass that day. From that gist, we used to ask her, how was your day? What happened today? Blah, blah, blah. She just told me. Then I called the school. I said, I heard that this so teacher asked my daughter to sit. We had to pursue that matter to a logical end, right? Because she could share. So she's going to be 16 in April by the grace of God. And the sort of thing she tells me, even while my heart is, I'm like, okay, I'll be forming, I'm her babe, because I want to hear more. And then I'll give my own, I'm not judging, I'll just give my own input. Don't you think if it happens like this, don't you think if you say it like this, don't you think if you do it like this and all of that? So I am happy that she's able to call me friend and share some things with me. And it took me back to my own time where I didn't have anybody to share with. My saving grace, why I wasn't abused on several counts, was the fact that my father had put the fear of God in many people. So they know him as a tyrant. They know that because I have a sharp mouth, they had a feeling that I will report to him. That was the fear that preserved me. If not, there were different instances where family members, uncles, cousins would have abused me. But because I've just mentioned, I will tell my daddy. They didn't know whether I would tell or not. Just that fear of daddy saved me. So how, and I know you guys, you have answered at some of these, saying that you have to stand up and fight for your child. But how do you encourage your children to share with you? Because we have established it here, you cannot be with them all the time. Business has to go on, work has to go on. How do we encourage them to share everything with you?
I think, by being involved in everything, almost everything that they do.
Okay.
Like, for example, when my kids were growing up, I watch the cartoons they watch. I sit down and I ask them, why do you
Let me take Chinaza, then I'll come to you. Chinaza is calling from Anambra. Good morning, Chinaza.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I like that.
It's my first time calling.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I have a story to share.
Okay.
On this topic, actually. For some days now, I've been thinking on this, and thank God you brought it up. I happen to be a victim of this, and thankfully now, my mom doesn't know up till now.
Wow.
And I won't blame her. By the grace of God, I have 3 kids already, all boys. But then what happened is this: she would always leave us in the hands of her friends. There's this they are relatives actually from my side. And when she's going to school, she was actually she went to school in her adult stage. And the boys in this family, they would take me aside, and oh my God, I can't explain all that. But then, up till now, she didn't know because she was not close to me. She was close to us, even till now.
Wow.
I wasn't an opportunity to share all this with her. But then I brought this, it came with me. And my children now, I make a point of duty that whenever they come back to school, the first thing we talk about is how school went.
School went, yeah.
And each time I give them home and goes out, immediately I come back and make sure we talk about how the children.
So they can get to know your children.
Old boy. Sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay, they're all boys, but then
It's the same.
they are also countries.
Yeah, boys too.
Boys still get
Boys
abused.
too.
It's the same.
Boys too was
So sorry about the story that you shared. I'm happy that you
someone's sharing a similar story here. It says, I was abused by at age 9 by my sister's husband for 3 years.
Yes.
When I told my husband, my sister, she hated me. Till now, she still hates me, and told everyone I seduced her husband. I still feel hot, and I am 33 now.
Oh.
How does a 9-year-old report an abuse somebody? And you say she seduced somebody? See, even in investigation, there's a way a 9-year-old tells the story that the court will not rely on it, and there's a way it tells the story that the court will say she's vulnerable, she should be protected immediately. A 9-year-old has to be groomed to tell a lie straight about an abuse. Like if I was a 9-year-old, Amato has to tell me, say it like this, say it like this.
Yeah.
For me, but once I'm saying it as a child, you would know it.
know,
Yeah,
because,
you know that
language
They don't have the vocabulary to express
to
it.
express it. And
When,
even the facial...
when they're able to repeat their story the way it's happened to different people the same way, you should know.
Yeah.
Recently, I had to say to an adult against my son that I hear you with your very well articulated and calm voice, but I don't trust you, and I would not take your account against my child. Until date, for my child to be confident in me, I have cut off any relationship with that adult.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he cannot just wake up out of the blue. Not that yesterday, not the day before yesterday, and pick you out of the entire 1,000 people in his life. Do you know how many people live in my house, come into my house, and go out of my house?
True.
So you have to have done something. And you see, she's 33, she can't get over it.
Yeah,
Two traumas in one.
Trauma is
An
bad.
adult abused her for 3 years.
Yeah.
She did not find the courage to say it. The day she says it, you blacklisted her, hated her, till she can't take from it. So you are betrayed her as a sister.
Yeah, so true.
How about even if you think she made it up? You
like
give her the impression you're looking into it, and you give her the protection that she requires.
I would like to talk to people who have found themselves in situations
Like
where,
this.
like this, like the people that say you seduced my husband or you seduced my wife or you are the cause.
Now, breast he gets for 9 years.
No, I want to know the thinking. I would really like to sit down with someone who took the side of the perpetrator, the adult perpetrator than the child. I want to know what they're thinking. What do they think will come out of that kind of decision? Is it that I don't know.
Let me tell you what's
what are
happening.
you doing?
They are in denial of the truth.
For how long?
Some people carry that denial for the rest of, depending on what they put as priority. So for some persons, this marriage is my life. These things I'm benefiting from this marriage, whether it's emotional, financial, security, everything is my life. I cannot be anything outside this marriage. So when that kind of issue comes as, where do I start from? I rather not see it. And that's what happens when they too see their own child, the husband molesting their own child, because the identity is tied to that marriage. See, it's better this child goes. Let me stay with my husband. I'm just telling you the mindset, because she was trying to, it's denial, just pure denial and pure evil. But you were saying something.
Yeah, okay, so you were talking about how we can make sure that our kids tell us stuff like that and everything. So I was going with the fact that you watch what they watch, number one, involve them in your own activities, some of your activities. Like for example, when you are cooking, come join, and then while you are cooking, you're asking questions, you are gisting with them, get to know them and all. And sometimes even when you're patting them, At some point, when my son got to 7, 8, usually I beat him. After some time, he told me, Mommy, please, can you stop beating me? So what I do is I go watch him. And I would like scrub this place, scrub this place, scrub this place. And after some time, he told me, Mommy, stop coming.
Yeah,
and
so
I stopped.
lock the door.
Now he will lock it. He will even lock the door. I remember because of that kind of relationship I really had with them when they were little. I remember there was a time when my daughter was just in primary 1. She came to complain to me that there's this guy in her class that anytime he comes, this small boy, he will just open their uniform and look at their pants. He will just look at their pants and close it. You know, she came and told me, and then I complained to the teacher then, and I said, look at what my daughter came to say. And she said, yes, other girls complained about that boy in that class. And they've invited the parents to come. Just like what Nima said, some parents are available, they are not attentive. These parents, they have been inviting them. They've told them, come, let's have a conversation about your child.
They didn't go.
They didn't. For 2 weeks, I had to go back to the school and I told them, okay, I don't want my child in this class. If this guy's parents are not going to come, I don't want my child in this class anymore. They should move her to another class. That was when they took it serious. Because sometimes even we parents, they have been calling parents, come, let's have a discussion. This is what your child is doing. Parents are now like, they are very busy. They will make out time. Once the school calls you about your child, I expect that you neglect every other thing and go and, listen. This is your child. We are talking about your child. This is your future.
Some people don't understand perpetrator's mind. So someone's daughter said that she was drugged. She had gone to a relative's house and she woke up. I found herself in a very funny state. But she remembered that the last thing she had was a juice, packed juice from, the uncle. And so she checked herself and saw blood and, she kept insisting something had happened. And so she went home and told her mom. The mother called the relative. Say, that one said, I didn't do anything. Say, I take Quran swear. That one swear. He finished from there.
And that was it?
That was information.
What's that?
The blood there that she saw.
Nobody took anything to anywhere.
Oh my God.
And the girl was specifically told, don't tell Nima.
Because he would have.
So it took me months to find out. When she was in a very, very bad state and she was just crying mentally, and then she opened up and said, I said, what happened on that day? I traveled. She said, Auntie, you were very well around. My mom said we shouldn't tell you.
She didn't tell you.
So that means she knew what she was doing.
Because we don't go generously to come back. I don't have time for
my daughter.
And I will still tell you to swear by the Quran after I've come back. Because I don't understand how people are wired. You see this, we term the people who pay attention to things, we term them busybodies.
Yes.
We know what we ought to do, and the people who will bother to do it, we give them labels so we sort of to discourage them to do things further. I don't have a relationship with anybody I don't feel safe around. I say to my kids, you don't go to the houses where you don't see me. You don't eat at a house where I just stop to greet and pass. Why would they born you? Why will you? I beat them for such a thing. True. Because those are the concerns that I have. My son and my daughter stayed with a family. They are the kindest to me. Yet, I pick for their window. They don't catch me several times.
To be sure,
I don't understand.
everything is safe.
I come back. I will tell them I'll be back at 4, and I'll come back at 12, unannounced. I will go and
just
peep.
Check.
The father will say, this mommy good friend. She's such a worry what? Because that's how I was raised. My mother's intuition saved 4 girls. My mother would not sleep. My mother would jack. So it saved, and that's how we must be wired. The worst part of parenting is that lax parenting who think that I cannot come and kill myself. If you have a girl child and you don't even dress her well,
cover her.
You don't cover her well. Are you a parent?
That's it. Let's go because we are going.
Okay, I just remember there was something I'd read. Someone had interviewed a serial killer and kidnapper of children and asked him, how do you pick out your victims? He says that they check children who don't seem to have any parental or adult supervision, that you can tell those children. You see in the way that they dress, they don't seem to be dressed properly. You see them playing around and you not see an adult around them. So those are the people, perpetrators find them, they see that they're vulnerable. So it's really on us as well to make sure that these are treasures that we call our treasure. We treat them like what they are.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your contributions. We've learned a lot today, and I hope that our video... No, we are going, and don't respond to any messages. We have to go. But we need to raise our children with awareness. Very important. We also need to get education for ourselves as well. We need to be very present in their lives, not just there, but be present. We need to also validate their feelings and avoid critical judgment on them so that they are free enough to open up to us so that we can find out if anything is going wrong. And hopefully with everybody's contribution and everybody's work, and God would help us, because at the end of the day we thought, okay, it's still God that will help us at the end of the day. We just pray that the perpetrators that have been caught will be punished to also deter other people from doing this sort of abuse. That's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.